Okay, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to a meeting of the Cunningham Township Board for Monday, April 12th, 2021. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wu,
Here.
Mr. Sachs,
Here.
Ms. Hersey, Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Roberts,
Here.
Mr. Colebrook,
Here.
Mr. Miller, Mayor Marlin,
Present.
Ms. Shenoweth,
Present.
Mr. Williams. That's it.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, minutes from the previous meetings of March 8th, March 22nd, and April 5th, 2021. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Bill Colebrook, seconded by Mary Alice. Any corrections? Okay. Will the clerk?
I just want to add Assessor Williams is in the meeting now.
Thank you, Wayne. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook.
Yes.
That motion passes. Next item is additions to the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? None? Okay. We'll now move to public participation. If you'd like to address the Cunningham Town Board, please raise your hand. Okay, I see no hands raised. We'll move on to committee to verify bills.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening. So we have a couple of things. We'll first start with the bills. So in the town fund, we had $81,765.89. In the general assistance fund, we had $105,781.11. The total is $187,547.00. As you will see in the town bills, we are at about 105 general assistance participants. This has been edging downward, both as we confirm who's living in Champaign and who's living in Urbana after the kind of shelter in place has lifted. It also shows that the economy is moving, and we've had a number of Social Security, a number of participants who have secured Social Security disability, which is great news. We have 44 participants who are homeless, about 41%. It's been hovering around that for a while. Average age has remained the same, around 44 years old. The community work program remained closed in March, but we are working in earnest on a reopening. So rental assistance, you'll see we had 12 households supported in the town bills last month. This is a combination of our standard rental assistance. We have COVID rental assistance supported by CU Public Health, where all CU Public Health dollars go directly for the rental assistance. And then we've also had angel donor dollars help GA participants move into housing. All of our public health dollars have been expended. We are providing up to 3 months of rental assistance while funds last, since we are running under budget due to the eviction moratorium, as well as federal dollars coming in through Regional Plan Commission. We also saw a number of people not be able to pay down their rent. And during COVID, 3 months is appropriate. That seems to be what people need to move off. In fact, it's usually between 1.5 and 3 months of rent. We now have enough options that any applicant who lives in Urbana who's making 200% of poverty level or below, we're helping them in some way, whether that's through a partner or through ourselves. 100% of folks we're able to help, which I'm really excited about because that's what people need right now. You'll see no utility support bills on this month. That is because we did a huge push the last 2 months to get people paid up in advance of Ameren's moratorium being lifted. I did not support that moratorium being lifted, but the ICC voted to allow for that to happen, and the governor did not intervene. So the good news is that because of our push and because of the dollars that's been available locally, I do have one that I'm paying off right now, but in the last month during this time period, we have not seen anyone who needed that support. I spoke with our rental assistance and utility assistant partners, and we think the next big gap is going to be when LIHEAP closes and is not open. So there's a potential July, August, September timeframe where we will need the dollars, and we do have dollars available thanks to the Unitarian Universalist Fund. We also are seeing some trickle in, and will continue to support if they cannot be supported by LIHEAP, Salvation Army, or RPC. We will support them with the UU fund that is countywide since it's private dollars. We have supported to date 109 general assistance participants representing 76 households to get housing advocacy. We do intensive support to help people apply for all available options. And we have been able to get basically a third of the households into housing, which is great. We continue to work so that we can get all households that need that subsidy into some kind of housing. We launched a new program. You'll see a couple of salt and light items in the town bills detailed. We launched a new program called housewarming, Township housewarming program. So if one of our participants is moving into housing, they don't have anything, they can shop at either Salt and Light or Habitat for Humanity Restore, and we pay for their move-in. And we do like a per person plus per child amount. So we had a 6-child, 1-mom household move into Champaign recently. Champaign provided the rental assistance. We did emergency housing. They chose to move to a Champaign, and then we actually did housewarming. So that's a very exciting program that's 100% angel donor funded. You'll see that. And then our emergency housing, we call it SAS, Shelter and Services. That continues to be strong. We actually have 5 families currently supported by the SAS program, and the average household's hotel stay continues to be about 40 days. So we're not seeing that go up or down. I did include quarterly financial reports. I'll just bring that up during the officer's report. Did you all have any questions about the town bills?
Okay, is there a motion to approve the report? Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the bill report.
Okay. Second,
Yeah, I'll second.
moved by Bill Colbrook, seconded by Bill Brown. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to review the bills when we receive them so late. I wonder if it's possible to get them a little bit earlier. Danielle. I mean, it's a lot of material to look through, and I'm not the sharpest guy on balancing things and following through on line items. And when you get it 45 minutes before the meeting, it just doesn't seem like it's possible to do that. So I wonder if you can do that better.
Yeah, that's not correct. The clerk posted the town bills on Thursday, and you received them as part of your packet. I think what you're referring to is the supervisor's memo, which is basically like a kind of an overview of the statistics, but the town bills are due per law to you in advance, and you did receive those. Is that what you're referring to, or are you talking about the supervisor's memo?
Well, I don't know. I just saw that there were several things that were delivered to us today, so it might not have been this particular thing. Okay, just all right, Chris. I looked at it this morning. I looked for it this morning. I didn't see it, but I looked at it just recently.
Well, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer these. These have been posted publicly since Thursday.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council members, trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Colebrook,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sachs,
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
That motion passes. Reports of officers.
So just briefly, the only other thing I have is I did provide quarterly financial reports, which I thought would be helpful for a closed session discussion about property acquisition. These are also be presented to at the annual town meeting tomorrow with the 2 audits this last year and the year before. But I just wanted to review some noteworthy items from income. We have reached 100% of anticipated income 3 quarters through the year. That's great news. We will be then over income for the year because of primarily due to the Cure Act reimbursements we received, angel donations, the UU fund and SSI reimbursements, all of which have been about double what we expected. UU fund being a new fund. The miscellaneous income, which is largely cure funding. We're actually waiting for our second disbursement, which will bring totals received to 202,000. Our first disbursement was around 90,000. So that's what you see. We expect 25,000 from CU Public Health for rental assistance already reimbursed. So in terms of income, we're in pretty good shape because of that reimbursement. We budgeted for a pretty significant deficit due to COVID, and thanks to the state and federal government, they have helped pay us back for some of that deficit, which I think is appropriate and great. Noteworthy items from expenses. Personnel is right on track at 75%, even though we've been able to increase staff capacity. We are over on legal costs and really should be looking at how to kind of control those going forward. I know that we have a lot of balls in the air, but legal costs tend to be continue to be high. Administrative costs include the pictometry, $40,000. That's why that is over. And then the supervisor's office expansion has pushed janitorial rent, office and equipment over. Major equipment expenses include, and that there's additional, in addition to the expansion, we purchased security cameras and video communication for walk-up service, and then we had to have a second copier for assessors. The miscellaneous expense includes our earnest money, and we are running at 63% of our budget for assistance programs. We are 75% through the year, but we did budget a very large deficit, hoping to recoup that in different ways, which we're doing. So I'd actually like to, hope that we don't have to be as far in debt as we expected with assistance this year. The state and federal funds were unexpected, but we've been able to fill a lot of gaps with our flexible spending with the Angel Donor Fund. So I just wanted to let you kind of see where we were in terms of our financial report. We are on track to come at or under budget overall. And so I feel like we're in pretty good shape. The issue is that the line items we spend from are not the line items we expected. So we will be bringing a new budget back to you if we go over 10% of any line item. There's a kind of a certain amount. We can't have a variation in our budget over a certain percentage. We've exceeded that, and we'll need to come back to you. So you should expect that next month. You'll actually have 2 budgets, the current year and the next year, coming to you next month, and we can talk through that piece. I think that's all I have for my report. Wayne, did you have anything?
I'll let Will give the assessor report.
Well, evening.
Good evening.
All right. Currently we're on track. I don't know how familiar you guys are, but the values are turned in every year around June 15th to the county assessor. So we're actually on track to have those values actually turned in on time this year. This year, there won't be any revaluations of neighborhoods, but instead the neighborhoods will receive factors based on, I guess, where they are in terms of the median. We continue to feed like data into the system. I know with COVID and the office move, it kind of slowed down the data entry part into the new AIM system, but we're still chugging along with that. And as far as like, I don't know if any of you have visited the website lately, but it's kind of the traditional website we launched last year when it first became live. So one of the things we've been working at is kind of creating some videos that will make it, I guess, more transparent for taxpayers to kind of understand what an assessor is, how the system kind of works. So these are the things to kind of be looking forward to in the next 60 to 90 days with the website. But other than that, everything's chugging along as normal. Any questions?
Any questions? Mary Alice?
Thank you, William. What percentage of the data entry is complete now in Ames?
I say, if we're talking all residential, exempt and commercial properties, we're probably somewhere close, I say like 65%.
And was this the data that was lost last time from the last report?
That was part of
Well,
it. That was part of it, and I think that's the guess, but I can get you a more exact number. I can send that to you this week.
Okay. And then can you remind me, I know we had discussions about the quad year. Was that this year or last year?
last year.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. I wanted, and then I had a question for Danielle. It's a very small question.
Sure.
So in the overview from where we are in the counts, there was something called payroll expenses. Now I know it's a very small amount, but I'm wondering why we're at 99% or what that is supposed to represent. Maybe that's a better question.
So I
Go
can
ahead.
take that. What that represents is a fee that our payroll service charges for each direct deposit for payroll. So
Okay.
with the expansion in staff and the expansion in interns, and a lot of that has to do with COVID, that's probably going to go over because there are just more people to pay.
Yeah,
So, but
many folks used to take them as checks, but we started to do direct deposit to minimize physical contact and transfer. So I think almost everyone is direct deposit at this point.
Okay. And then you said that you mentioned that you put up cameras outside of Township. Is there a monthly billing for that, or is that just a one-time fee?
We chose not to do a maintenance fee. We would do, if something does happen, I have to pay for support, but I felt that the monthly fee was higher than what I thought we would use annually. So no, there's no monthly fee. There was an expense. It was originally calculated to be covered by cure expenses, but actually they covered more of our payroll than initially expected. That said, we did have some security issues at the township and decided to go ahead and put security cameras up.
Were those issues during the day or were they during non-business hours?
They were during the day while staff members were in the office and involved property damage on multiple occasions.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bill? Bill?
Yeah, there was a news report that our request to intervene on the OSF case was denied because I guess it was too late or we hadn't requested it early enough. Can you tell us a little bit about what the impact of that is?
not an open session, Bill.
It's not public information.
Well, you asked a question about the impact, and so the impact is not something that we're going to discuss in open session.
Okay, I'll add that to my to the motion to go into closed session then.
We're not prepared to discuss that tonight, but we were going to schedule a closed session at a future meeting.
Okay, I'll be able to talk about it after a couple of weeks anyway, I guess.
Right. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Is there any unfinished business? I don't see any listed. We'll move on to new business. The first item on the agenda is a closed session to discuss the purchase of real property for the use of Cunningham Township, including discussing whether a particular parcel or parcels should be acquired pursuant to the Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120/2 (c)(5). We have a motion to go into closed session.
Sure, I'll do that. I make a motion, we go into closed session per the items you mentioned.
And I'll second it.
Moved by Dennis, seconded by Bill Colbrook. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook.
Yes.
That motion passes. So we will instruct folks to leave this meeting, and the link to the closed session will be sent in your email.
Do we have a quorum to call the meeting to order? Yes. I'd like to move that we come out of closed session and restart open session.
And I'll second it.
Will the clerk please call the roll? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. I had it muted. Oh. Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook.
Yes.
That motion passes. Next item on the agenda is resolution number T 2021-04-005R, which is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement with the city of Urbana for ESG fund for fiscal year 22.
So just a quick explanation of this. So you might recall, we had a similar resolution with a similar contract with the city of Urbana back in November. That was for emergency solution grant COVID dollars. This is the standard emergency solution grant dollars. It's for the same program, Bridge to Home. We have asked the city of Urbana to fiscally sponsor. We need to show the state we have we essentially have agreement from our board for that sponsorship. The final agreement, subrecipient agreement, actually will look like the one I attached, but it won't be that one. So we have to wait until the state sends us kind of final details. But essentially you're authorizing me to sign that contract when it comes. And that's the same thing you did last November.
Any questions for Danielle? Okay, can we get a motion? Bill Brown?
I'll move to approve resolution number T 2021-04-005R, resolution authorizing supervisor to sign an agreement with the city of Urbana for ESG funds FY22.
I'll second it, Dennis.
Moved by Bill Brown, seconded by Dennis. Further discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook.
Yes.
That motion passes. Next item is resolution number T 2021-04-006R, which is a resolution also authorizing the township supervisor to sign a lease with the city of Urbana for 202 Wood Street, Urbana, for use as a solidarity garden.
Yeah, so I sent you The lease for this, it's a lease agreement between the city of Urbana and Cunningham Township. As you recall, Township spearheaded a collaborative effort across the county to develop gardens. It's a mutual aid network across, we've had folks in Mahomet growing vegetables. We had folks in Urbana growing vegetables. Last year, a lot of people, as they were sheltering from home, pitched in and grew fresh food for their neighbors in need as well as for themselves. And the schools, the park district, the library, Sola Gracia, Channing Murray Foundation, Carl Foundation have all been partners in that project, public health as well. And so we distributed thousands of pounds of fresh food that otherwise would not have been produced. By providing the seeds and the tools and whatnot and the space. We actually used all of the space that was available to us. And this opportunity came forward with the city of Urbana having a 1/3 of an acre lot. They had an RFP process. We put in an RFP as Solidarity Gardens. Township has agreed to be the leaseholder and fully responsible party. So if Solidarity Gardens goes away, it's a township garden. Otherwise, we do meet twice a week to collectively govern this collaborative, Solidarity Gardens Collaborative. And we intend to spend the first year working with the community in that area. It is a neighborhood garden, so it's very important to connect with Canaan Baptist Church, the African grocery store, the Parasol Records, 25 o'clock. I've already connected with Urbana Adult Ed, and many of our participants live at the homestead apartments that is nearby. So we're really excited because we have a lot of participants who live in that area, and because we have a lot of potential community partners to launch a brand new garden. I am hiring 2 interns for that garden. So if anyone really wants to start a new community garden, please send them my way ASAP. I put the word out about that. This allows me to enter into a lease agreement with the city of Urbana. What I'd ask you to do is essentially to confirm the lease agreement that I gave you with accepting legal tweaks from the city of Urbana. They wanted to make sure there was no electric lighting. They wanted to make sure that we did not have porta potties. They want to make sure that we will have insurance and hold the city harmless. I think those were basically the 3 areas that they wanted to see changed. So as long as if you could basically accept the lease that I sent you, understanding that there will be a few changes based on the city of Urbana's request, but that you will authorize a lease for this property as long as it does not exceed $1 per year. That is my request for this evening. That'll allow us just to finish up the pieces that we need to with the city of Urbana legal. And then I believe it'll be taken care of on an administrative level at the city is my understanding. Mary Ellis?
I have 2 questions. The first one is I don't find the lease in the emails that you sent us. We have a memo, we have a budget, we have a balance, we have the contract for sale, we have the supervisor, and we have the resolution. Am I missing it?
It is, was it not included on the town packet?
And I didn't see it in the town packet.
It's not added to the packet. Let me, if you would like, yeah, it looks like it didn't make it into the packet. I actually have the more revised version from the city. It just came to me. And I can send that.
Can I make a suggestion then? Can we have a 5-minute special meeting next week so that we have an opportunity to look at the lease? I don't like approving something without actually seeing the legal documentation.
Absolutely. I really apologize because I believe I sent the lease over. So that was, I should have checked the website to make sure that it had gotten posted with the rest. Yes, if you would prefer a meeting next week and then we table this, that's certainly fine. Or it could be 2 weeks. I actually originally thought, let's do it in May because we're just going to have community conversations. I'm not so urgent on the need to approve this lease. The issue is that there were 2 people who responded to the RFP. it was our group, and then it was a person who actually lives right next door to the property and would like to grow vegetables this year for his wedding. And he's got to get started right away. And we're not going to grow things. We're just going to do community design. And he said he would put it back. He will basically help us prepare the soil. So I was trying to work with his timeline because he actually needs to get stuff in the ground. So if it's okay with you and you want to do next week or the week after, I think that'll still give him a chance to get things in the ground in time.
But it would work to do, it would work to do it next month as well?
Well, I guess if he grows the seed, you know, if the city could provide us the ability to start tilling up the soil, that would be great. I think that's
without the lease.
Mhm.
Okay, it sounds like we'll do a special town board meeting either next week or 2 weeks from now. We'll figure that out. At
Okay.
least we'll have enough time to look at the lease.
Yeah, my apologies. If I had caught that, I would have sent it to you.
So do we
Yeah.
need a motion to forward this to a special meeting, Phyllis, or how do we handle this?
Is this for the resolution, or is it for the contract, or what?
It's the resolution on the garden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since you're not gonna vote on it tonight, are you?
No,
No,
Okay, yeah. Then that's what you need. You need a roll call to send it on.
do we have to specify a date for a special meeting?
You can if you want to. I would suggest that you do, since you're talking about moving it from this meeting
Okay.
to another.
So this is the 12th, the 19th. Would the town board be comfortable with next week, the 19th? Is that enough time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to move this for consideration on April 19th.
So I'll make that motion. I move that we send resolution number T 2021-04-006R to a special meeting on April 19th.
I'll second that then.
Okay, moved by Mary Alice, seconded by Dennis. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes,
Mr. Colebrook.
Yes.
That motion passes.
could I ask a question about this before we leave the topic?
Here, by the way. Jared is here.
And Sharice been here for a while.
Let the record reflect that Jared Miller and Sharice Hersey have joined the meeting. Dennis, you had a question?
Yeah, Danielle, this is a lot like the establishment of the Lehrman Garden over on East Washington. And one of the only issues that the gardeners had to solve was supply of water for irrigating the garden. So if you come back next week, do you have maybe you could cover your thoughts about how they're going to accomplish that? You may have to have a water line taken from the street over to the garden area for irrigation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I have 2 donations from neighbors for water, but I can go give details about that. And there is a water line. If I pay to establish a meter, we could do that as well if the neighbors change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just one of the nutty things that you have to solve before you can actually grow plants. Okay, thanks a lot.
Sure.
Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Wu,
Yes.
Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
Ms. Hersey,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes,
Mr. Colebrook,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
That motion passes. And last item on the agenda is resolution 2021-04-007R, resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a contract for purchase of real estate. Is there a motion to get this on the floor?
I'll move that we put resolution number T 2021-04-007R with a recommendation, to approve this resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further comments? Danielle, did you want to make?
I just wanted to say that Because the township has been growing its programs, as I've announced to the public and to the town board. We served over 4,000 residents last year. We've added a number of new programs. We're looking to sustain those programs past COVID. That includes emergency shelter for families with children in Urbana schools or a crisis nursery. It includes rapid rehousing for the homeless. It includes support with rental assistance to move folks into housing or to keep them in housing. You know, ultimately, our goal is to end homelessness in Urbana. As you will see in the seeds of our strategic plan, which we bumped to next month because we have quite a bit on the agenda for today. We have a strategic plan to end homelessness in Urbana with steps to do that. A piece of that picture is really to expand the options for housing in Urbana. There's a lot of different ways to do that. One of those ways is to own housing. So the piece before you tonight is to provide the township flexibility to basically expand housing close to township, close to downtown, to have these properties for the programs that we have at township. And a future press release, as well as if we need special use permits on the property, that would come before the city council, and there would be a process. At this point, we're asking to purchase these two properties at the amount of $490,000. I've asked you to move the resolution that is before you that I sent this evening and that we discussed in closed session that has the location and dollar amount. And I'm happy to answer any questions in open session that you may have.
Bill Brown?
Yeah, since it's a different resolution than what was online, I wonder if we should read the last part that was added. I did have a question just in general about when we talk about ending homelessness in Urbana. Of course, a lot of homelessness and homeless funds come from federal and state sources. And how do you answer people that say, well, you can't really end homelessness in Urbana without ending homelessness in Danville and Champaign and Bloomington and Decatur, because people move back and forth when they're homeless? So how do we work with on a more regional scale to leverage the funds that are out there to work at that level, so that we aren't trying to end homelessness in Urbana, but trying to end homelessness for the whole East Central Illinois at the same time?
So to answer your question, first I would say there's different definitions of homelessness, and I think we're looking at those pieces of, like, there are communities, including our community here in Champaign County, that first started to focus on veteran homelessness. There were a lot of dollars to end veteran homelessness, and there are places in Illinois that have completely eliminated veteran homelessness. Champaign County is very close to achieving that. It's very close to achieving the end of homelessness for veterans in our community. And we have not seen that our initiatives to end veteran homelessness have somehow meant, you know, there's multiple veterans coming into the community. So we're very close to achieving that. The next area that we've worked on very hard as a continuum, meaning countywide, all the various, I think there's 21 different agencies, including the city of Urbana and Cunningham Township at the table, to really focus on chronic homelessness. And thanks to the Housing Authority opening up a voucher process during COVID, we've been able to address a lot of the chronic homelessness in the community. And chronic homelessness is defined as multiple instances of homelessness in a year, and a certain period of time of being homeless, usually 2 weeks or longer, and then multiple instances of homelessness. So I think the next step or frontier, so to speak, is to end homelessness, start, with our kids. We know the number of kids that we have who are homeless. That number is, let me just pull this up. Let's see. I thought I had it at my fingertips. The number of homeless kids is about 600 kids in the county as a whole. In Urbana, it's about 200 kids. I pulled these numbers from Regional Office of Education. It's a doable amount, right? And so it's a finite amount. We can quantify it and we can focus on that. And that includes both literally homeless families, as well as what is called McKinney-Vento Definition Act homeless, which is basically the majority of homeless families are couch surfers. So I'd be happy to engage in, as we unveil our strategic plan, what it looks like to end homelessness. There's a campaign to end homelessness on the national level. Lake County was recently awarded dollars to end homelessness in their community. The Oak Park Township has created a strategic plan to end homelessness in Oak Park that has been inspirational for our own strategic plan here. So you don't get somewhere unless you start. And I think that there's what we've been able to do is to, make significant progress in Urbana and continue along that trajectory.
So would you say these 8 units would fill another safety net, basically, that people that don't fall into other categories and are able to access funds and programs that are larger, that involve more units, that slip through the net, and these would help catch those Urbana school kids and stuff?
Yeah,
Is that a good way to think of it?
Yeah, so we already have a program for homeless families and people with disabilities. It is operated out of a hotel. That was possible under COVID, and it's not during COVID. So if we do not provide a stable housing, if we do not provide a sustainable solution, we're going to see the dollars for that program, which have been pretty economical and fully funded by private donations, skyrocket, and we'll have to take that on as a tax levy. So part of this, it's not the whole piece, but we would like this property as an option for those for that emergency housing, as well as for our rapid rehousing programs. Our rapid rehousing program, frankly, it's still difficult to locate housing for people with housing subsidies in both Urbana and Champaign, even though Urbana prohibits that kind of discrimination. So it will allow us, to house people, and allow to house people more affordably than we're currently doing, and to be able to provide that rich case management support very close to Township.
Okay, thanks.
Any other council comments? Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mary Alice, seconded by Dennis. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Both of the clerks are muted.
Well, my computer keeps going down
I see.
and it just come back up. So we're ready for a roll call?
Yes, we are, please.
Okay. Ms. Wu?
Yes, and I think Bill Colbrook is the one who seconded that motion.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. You're correct. Thank you.
Now, are we ready now?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Wu?
Yes.
Mr. Sachs?
Yes.
Ms. Hersey?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
That motion passes. We have no further business before the Cunningham Town Board. This meeting is adjourned. I do want to announce, however, that tomorrow evening is the annual meeting of the Cunningham Township, and it begins at 6 p.m. It's an in-person meeting in City Council chambers. If you're going to attend the meeting, you must use the north entrance of the City Council building, which is the entrance by the public parking lot, and masks will be required, and numbers of participants will be limited based on public health guidelines. So.
And just on that topic, since we were planning on unveiling our strategic plan, but we're limited due to COVID to 18 people, we will be unveiling that at the town board meeting next month. So those who are interested in attending, we're expecting a short meeting that's focused on looking at 2 years of audits, a success statement, and a statement of our successes from 2020 that we circulated online. But the real meat of the conversation will be at that Zoom meeting where more people can participate. So I just wanted to let folks know. You are certainly welcome to attend. We're hoping to have some warm bodies in the room. At least Phyllis and I will be there. I promise to bring chocolate. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, with no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.